being able to see the recordings of yourself every week, you can see the physical proof of how you're growing. In most classes, you don't get to watch it back. But now I can watch a video, and every single month I can see that I'm getting a little better. And it's just been so rewarding.
Anybody have anything they'd like to mention before we get started from watching last week's class?
Yes, I'd want to say, make sure you're using all your juicy words.
So did you watch yourself and see some blank words?
Yeah.
Some words that you weren't actually thinking about what you meant by those words. Yeah, it's so obvious. It's like there's like a ticker tape on your eyeballs. I think when you're acting, when you're really thinking, you can see what the words mean. But when you don't think on a specific word, your eyes go blank. The eyes just go, and that's everybody. If you don't think about what a word means, then your eyes go blank. And it's really obvious. It's like your eyeballs are lie detectors. They will tell everyone whether or not you are thinking the thoughts of your character or not. Right?
Yeah.
Have you guys all seen that? Your eyes just go blank for a second, and then they come back when you start thinking again.
It was so clear that I wasn't focusing, because I would refocus by widening my eyes. And so anytime I would kind of my eyes would get really wide for a second, it was oh, and now she's back, and now she's back, and I'd be back for a second, and then kind of fade away a little bit, and then boom. And I was like, no.
No, it just has to be constant. It has to be constant.
Yeah.
Stopping and starting. Yeah, I see that a lot just in the beginning of a monologue or a scene where someone is like, okay, I'm me, now I'm going to start, and I'm beginning, right? And that is just such it's like an alarm goes off that you haven't prepared enough, that your scene has to start way before you start acting, right? In your mind, your preparation is about getting into your character's mind at least 15, 20 seconds before you begin to speak. You have to be there in the moment, talking to the other person before you ever start. Did you watch yourself?
Watching it and while we was doing it was understanding that, everything there has to be a meaning behind everything that you're saying. And I think that at some points that I was having those points, I was going through emotions of, just saying it and having, just thinking that's what it, means. But rather than internalizing what I'm saying for a reason, I was just basically saying it. And so having that stopping and starting, in between each line and really thinking about everything before we're even saying it, or what Brooke says to me makes me feel for me to react to that way. It really helped out a lot, because having that feeling of being able to react the entire time, really letting everything sit with you until my part, Brooke says something to me that makes me change my whole dynamic of what I'm about to say next.
Yes. And the thing, somebody on Reddit this morning, and I just got this little ding that is popular on our acting class, that somebody posted something that said, how do you start developing a character? What's so important, and why we go line by line by line, is that why your character is speaks so much to your character's point of view. Your character's point of view and how they see the world and how they see the person that they're speaking to, that is really what defines them, right? The way your character sees the world, right? And where do you find that information? You either find it in the text that you have, in the script as a whole, or you have to make it up based on what is there. But it's really the words that are there that are going to give you the hints to what you have to make up, where you have to fill in the blanks. But it's all about knowing your character well enough, the way they think, the way they react, the way they see the world. That's how you become your character, because then you have to start thinking as your character. Now, somebody else said, it might have been Rebecca, who was talking about backstory and how, you can't think about your whole backstory when you're acting. That's true, because there's too much. But you have to have the backstory so that you have the basis for your character's point of view, their perspective on life. Okay, you can't think of it every minute that you're acting, because you have to just be in the moment by moment, right? But you can't be in the moment unless you know exactly how your character would react to that moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the whole backstory thing is about, is, understanding your character, everything about them. How are they like you? How are they different from you? How do they see the world in the same way, and how do they see the world in a different way? Because lots of times it's very, very different than you, right?
Yeah.